Hi, I'm back.
Hello everyone, welcome back. I can't believe I'm about to say these words, but we are back on Clash Royale. It's been 1 fucking year of no uploads, and we are back. We are so back. We have Retro Royale. It's gonna be 2 weeks of daily uploads, so if you want some Clash Royale videos, don't know where to look, don't look any further. You're in the right place. Today we have 5 OG decks that I just picked from my memory mostly. Didn't really look anywhere on the internet. Been playing this game for so long that I actually do remember some decks. And I have 5 here, some of the most iconic decks in Clash Royale. And first deck, we have one of the most iconic Hog Rider decks. It's not 2.6. Only reason why I'm not playing 2.6 is because 2.6 actually is still being played in 2025, which is crazy. So we have the Trifecta. This is like the first Hog Rider deck. This is what people used to play before 2.6 was a thing, and obviously it's a dead deck right now, but it still has a very important place in everybody's heart, considering this is the deck that was played before 2.6. So without further ado, let's get in the first game. We are in the first game against Alo, and yeah, how have you been doing first of all? It's been so fucking long. Before we start, I kind of hate that they kept level 15 in this Retro Royale thing. I don't know if anybody agrees with me on this, but I feel like since they removed champions, evolutions and everything else, level 15 doesn't really fit here. Just me though. Who cares? Still better than nothing. Yeah, how have you been doing? I haven't been up too much, to be honest, even though it's been 1 year. Not much happened. Didn't play any other games, as I said in my last video before ending my YouTube career. I said that I maybe will play other games and upload other games, but didn't really do it because I actually didn't play much else. So gonna put the skeletons to keep the princess on the bridge, actually. I don't want to rage on the first game I'm playing. I really don't want to, but I feel like it's about to happen because I can already feel the difference in the interactions between level 14 and level 15 cards, and this is one of those things that actually contributed heavily to me quitting the game. So I'm trying to keep it inside me and not get too mad about it, but we are playing against a bait deck, it seems. Looks like he's playing also like the classic bait deck. Interesting to see if there will be all decks getting a comeback in the meta, since so many cards are missing. I'm very curious because obviously balance changes happened in the past 8 years, so obviously many decks are not viable anymore. Like, you will never see Hogs Up being played because Lock is just better, and Lock didn't exist back then. Still, this deck back in the day was such a good deck. It was actually almost impossible to deal with, I would say. Okay, so for our second deck, we have an even more iconic deck potentially. You might ask yourself, how can it be more iconic than Trifecta? I would argue that it might be, because it is the Jason deck. This is the deck that won the first Clash Royale championship ever, and it was not even close. That's how good the deck was, like, just to put it in the words. I will start the game and we will talk a little bit more about this deck because it's actually insane. Being there at the time when this deck was created, Jason, the guy that won the tournament and created this deck, comes out of fucking nowhere. He's just like, he appears with this deck and completely destroys everyone. That's so fucking savage. Like, you're just coming out with a deck from scratch, giant Hog Rider, something that was maybe not even played that much, and he destroys everybody, not even close. He got some money. I don't think he ever actually won any other tournaments or anything, but just winning the first tournament, like important tournament in Clash Royale ever, such a fucking flex. So what would you do with this deck? As with many decks in the past, you will see that there is this, all the decks have something in common, which is Pump. Pump was so good. Like, actually, people that didn't play back in the day will never understand how good Pump was. First of all, it was 5 elixir, it had more health, it was producing more elixir faster, it was actually just a positive elixir trade every time. Like, it was not even close. You didn't even have to try. Like, you didn't even have to think whether to use pump or not. Like, you could just play it and it would give you value anyways. That doesn't make sense, and you could see that people used to abuse it a lot back in the day. Not surprising. So almost all of these decks have pump, which obviously is kind of outdated, since pump is still good, not as good as it used to. Gonna try to force out the arrows here, because if we manage to force out the arrows, we can actually take some nice value with the minion horde. Let's pressure with the hog rider, again trying to bait out the arrows potentially. Our spear goblins struggle a lot with the skeletons from the graveyard because levels, but we have a very nice advantage here. So I'm hoping we can like get some nice value with the minion horde. He will play arrows obviously, but I'm pretty confident that I can cycle more potentially. Let's play another giant on the other lane. And minion horde, he will play bomb tower, but we're not really worried about that. He shouldn't have arrows yet. Now that we baited out bomb tower, we can play hog rider, arrows. He will arrow now, but giant is still tanking for the hog rider. Giant hog rider connected on the tower, and we get a nice win. And this is exactly the perfect example of how the deck used to work back in the day. Tower troop chest, whatever. And not saying it's good now, but it actually does show how good it was. The fact that you can overwhelm your opponent with hog riders and giants, baiting the main defenses, having 2 different win conditions, and getting a huge elixir lead with the elixir collector. That's just the perfect example how the deck used to work. Third deck, yet another iconic deck. For some people, it might have even been their favorite back in the day, because it is Pekka Double Prince. This just almost has a special place in my heart. Not because I've ever actually played it, because you can see it has 2 legendaries.
Legendaries, mamma mia, Marcello, legendary!
Obviously, if you play the game, you know they were extremely rare. Having Princess or Ice Wizard was the biggest flex you could ever have with your friends. It was crazy. Like, if you actually did have either Princess or Ice Wizard, you were the coolest guy. Nobody could tell you anything. So, playing a deck that has both legendaries, and maybe on top of that playing it competitively in top ladder, you had to have them leveled up. Like, almost nobody could allow to play this deck. There were other variations with like minion horde instead of Ice Wizard, just to make it slightly easier. But this deck was so fucking good. It was like the most pay-to-win deck back in the day. So never played it, but I always had the desire to actually be able to play it. Also, I really want to mention, back in the day, everybody was garbage at the game. If you look at any video from 7-8 years ago, you will see what I'm talking about. People were shit at this game, which is kind of funny to say, because you might not even think that there might be so much difference, but there actually is. There is so much difference. It's crazy. If you watch even like top player gameplay from 7 years ago, they were literally at the level of just a mid-ladder person nowadays, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's how it was. So, not knowing how to play a game, if you had Pekka Double Prince rushing towards your tower, nobody knew what to do. Like, literally, you were just like basically quitting the game. What were you supposed to do? On top of that, with the 2 legendary cards, most people didn't even know how to deal with them because they were new and you didn't play against them that often, which obviously made it so that you didn't even know how to deal with them. Yeah, that was a very easy window. Pooh Croissant didn't really stand a chance. He was not really good at the game, unfortunately, for him. Next deck, we have this very cool Golem deck. This is one of the decks I've used to play the most back in the day as a beatdown player. Right now it might seem shocking, 5.0, no, like, how would you even play it? It was a thing, I swear. There was people in top ladder playing this deck, and it used to actually work. This was probably the deck with which I got my best results back in the day. I was managing to stay in top 1k, not saying consistently, but I used to get there, and it was not that crazy of an achievement with this deck. How would you play it? Basically, again, back in the day, people not knowing how to play the game very well, they just wouldn't know how to deal with Golem on one side and 3 musketeers split and battle ram on the other side. It was just such a overwhelming double lane pressure that nobody knew how to deal with it. Now, obviously, with so many more cards, so many more ways and cheap ways to deal with shit, this is not a threat at all. Also, this is a mistake. Don't play Golem in single elixir with this deck. It doesn't make any sense. You cannot even really support it. I hope Princess doesn't shoot my minions. I think it will though. Yeah, unfortunate. And yeah, you would overwhelm your opponent and they wouldn't be able to do basically shit. That's how it works. Gonna play. Oh, he doesn't have arrows. That's gonna be very good actually. Like, playing Golem in single elixir was a mistake, but this guy completely fucked up the defense. Yeah. It just brings memories. Like, now, is there even any 3 musketeer deck that is good? I don't think so, but let's just 3-crown the guy. I don't think he can even do anything. But yeah, this back in the day was crazy. Like, your opponent would just... The objective was just making your opponent... bait your opponent's spell. I swear I can speak English. It was supposed to bait your opponent's spells, and as soon as they used Fireball on the Musketeers, you had Minion Horde. They use arrows, you have minions. You have fucking goblins sneaking through, and you have also both minions, Minion Horde, and Butler. Like, it was so much to deal with. For our last deck, we have basically a deck that came out more or less at a similar time when Trifecta was a thing, and it's called Air Fecta, which is supposed to basically counter almost this deck, and it appeared after Clash Royale added a few air troops. At the start, when the game was just released, not many air troops, there was not a lot of choice. The decks were mostly like, you could play with a deck that didn't even have any air counters and you would be perfectly fine because there was no air win condition. Balloon was a thing, but you could deal with it because it didn't have like that much health. Like, it was easily defendable. But then Lava Hound got added, Inferno Dragon got added, Mega Minion got added, and suddenly this deck appears. You can see that it has some cycle elements with the Ice Spirit, strong defense with Tombstone, Inferno Dragon, and no Balloon, which was a new thing back then. There was, like, Lavaloon was the first deck to appear, I think, obviously because people were already playing Lavaloon in Clash of Clans, and like, you are not... I don't believe you if you tell me that you've never tried to play a Clash of Clans combo in Clash Royale, specifically when it had just came out. Like, you're not real if you actually say it. But yeah, people used to try like Pekka Golem, obviously very iconic combo in Clash Royale. They used to try Lavaloon. They used to try Barbarians, Archers, like all these combos that are very popular in Clash of Clans. Obviously, every person that started playing Clash Royale in 2016 was a Clash of Clans player. Like, most of the people. Yeah, hence somebody came up with Lava Miner instead of Lavaloon, and it actually became one of the best decks in the meta back then. I hope that the Inferno Dragon doesn't cross. Yeah, this is probably lost. Unfortunately, X-Bow was a thing back then and it still is right now. Yeah, I was trying to predict the archers there, but it didn't really work. So this is gonna be probably a loss. As you can clearly imagine, this is not the best deck to deal with X-Bow. I don't know if back when this deck was good, X-Bow was a thing. No idea, actually. But I will be trying to pressure in the opposite lane now. Trying to get an Inferno Dragon connection maybe on the tower. If I manage to catch the archers with the miner, it would be amazing. No idea if I will manage to. I will poison the Tesla. We'll be distracting the Inferno Dragon, obviously, with skeletons, Ice Spirit and shit. And yeah, the archers are placed perfectly. This guy obviously knows how to play, and on top of that, he doesn't have really the worst matchup, let's be real. And also, whether you believe it or not, I kinda forgot how to play the game after not having played for a whole year. Believe it or not. Gonna be playing poison here, trying to catch the archers. Unfortunately, we catch only one, which kinda sucks. We didn't catch the Tesla, he plays another one. We get a miner on the tower, but he's gonna play knight on it. He's gonna destruct the Inferno Dragon for 10 more seconds, and he is perfectly fine. So, yep, we are getting a loss for our last game. He even had Fireball to clear stuff up. And yeah, this deck I feel like out of the 5 we showed is the one that has potential to work the most. As of right now, obviously, there are better decks, I don't tell you. But yeah, considering levels, he had a fully maxed out deck and he had a good matchup. There was not a lot we could do. But yeah, this would be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this jump in the past, talking about the old decks with me. I mean, hearing me talk about them. If there are any decks you want me to play from back in the day, any kind of video idea and anything that gives you a good throwback to the past, make sure to let me know. For the next 2 weeks, I'm uploading daily, so if there is any idea that actually inspires me, I will be 100% making it happen. And for now, this will be all. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed and have yourself a nice day. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.